Now, the winner of this race will advance to the round of 16 and will take on the four-seeded Up to NG. And here we are. We are getting it going. The king giving the instructions, and we will see how things are getting started. Oh, we've got, you mentioned it, a magic key as well as some gold, so they'll be able to max out on magic keys to get things started. Certainly a fantastic start, which usually makes things potentially a little bit more swift.
All right, the double magic key means that they could potentially do a gold grind right now. So Larry's going to go right for some extra keys right now.
And we have some swamp outside the castle, and I'll explain the gold grind glitch in a moment here, but so far we've got a torch in the treasury, as well as some money. Oh, there's the Axe Ghost. That's where the glitch comes into play, and we'll explain that in just a moment here. But Game Boy F9 opting to reset, perhaps realizing, oh, I found the one that I need for gold. Meanwhile, in the basement is the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave, and that has a set of wings.
There's a lot of grassland to the north that can be checked out there. Of course, the skeleton you don't want to run into too early, and it looks like not much up there.
Oh, we've got a Demon Knight with Hurtmore and an almost immediate reset for Game Boy F9. So with that reset, looking to purchase more. Now, I saw the middle chest was a magic key. I did not see what the bottom right chest was, as Larry had picked that up.
Yeah, I missed that as well, but probably see it again when Game Boy goes and cracks that open.
Meanwhile, Game Boy is going to pick up the wings. Utilized as the spell of return. Once you use the wings, that will transport you back to Tanager Castle, and Larry running into a metal scorpion and taking an early death.
So, good decision from both players to not do the gold grind at the start. One of the trickiest things about that is you just don't know where any towns are or any information about the map, and seeing the swamp outside probably dissuaded both runners from trying anything cheeky like that at the start.
Yeah, now the way the gold grind works, as I know we've been referencing it pretty early here in the seed, chests respawn every time you enter the overworld, but due to the limitations that the programming limitations that the game had at the time, it only tracks up to 8 treasure chests as open, and every chest open beyond that can be taken over and over again, as we have Garenham on Angry Larry's side.
And we've got Garenham with some reasonably priced items, too. So if Larry wants to crack open the treasury and take another run down here, he's going to do that starting gold grind, it looks like.
Figuring that a hand axe, clothes, and a large shield may not be a bad way to go. And wow, 57 hit points gained at level 2 for Game Boy on, we just saw that about a half a minute ago.
That is, if whatever the opposite of an empty eye level is, that's what that is. Holy cow, that's going to open up exploration quite a bit.
Yeah, certainly able to take some damage and then some. As Larry, meanwhile, going to head back and opts to not even bother purchasing more keys, as he realizes that there is a magic key here in the treasury. And is actually going to now exercise that glitch to max out the keys without having to purchase them. Very, very smart move, a very savvy move here by Angry Larry.
So he's definitely going to get enough money to get the large shield and the hand axe very quickly here, but I wonder if it looks like he's taking a little bit extra. That'll let him get set up with a full stack of herbs, a dragon scale, and really, if he finds another town in short order, he could maybe even buy some half blades, so he's in good shape.
And now Game Boy off into Garenham as Angry Larry, now with the knowledge and a little bit of gold, going to go ahead and make the trek and try to survive here. Game Boy, meanwhile, purchasing the hand axe. So, going to the aforementioned gold grind here a little bit ago. So with every chest beyond the 8th being able to be taken over and over again, usually what will happen is somebody will go into a cave, death warp back to the castle, and then open the various chests from there. But in this case, taking the 3 chests in the treasure room, or the throne room rather, leaving the throne room, going back in, those chests are marked as opened once again, so you don't take them over and over again. So that puts the total up to 6. And then opening 2 treasure chests inside of the treasury puts it to 8, so that 9th chest can be taken over and over again. And speaking of chests, we've got the Stones of Sunlight, we've got a torch, and we've got the Dragon Scale for Game Boy F9.
So of course everyone's gonna buy it or Larry's gonna buy it first and then find it.
That's usually how these things tend to go. So the Stones of Sunlight, one of the essential items, and in the back of Garenham we have the Tablet Cave. No enemy encounters, but we've got a treasure chest at the end, which could contain quite a bit of things. In this case, it has some big bucks. Nothing wrong with free money.
It does cost a little bit of time. Neither player has the outside spell, so they have to walk it out, but uh-oh. Game Boy's gonna run into the fun police.
Yes, the Red Dragon, one of the strongest enemies in the game, known as the Fun Police because, well, when they show up, the fun tends to stop.
Interesting, they have weak fire breath and stop spells, so may not be nearly as nasty as they could be if they show up in a Sharlock dive.
And could also be a potentially grindable enemy a little bit later, especially once they get Erdrick's armor, the best armor in the game, which makes the spell of stop spell immune. And here is level 4 on Game Boy F9 side, 1, 10, 15, and 19 for the various gains.
And Larry's gonna take a dive into the mountain cave here, and it's gonna beat up a magician, and ow. They have Herdmar.
Yeah, they do. And it hurt quite a bit.
See if Larry tries to dive that again, but he is not far off from the next level once he gets his HP here. Might feel a little braver about diving.
And now there's level 2 for Larry, and he's going to enjoy the fruits of the 57 hit point gain.
Ooh, the wolf dodges Game Boy's swing and sends it back to the castle. One more hit would have done it.
Already death number 4 for Game Boy F9, just 10 minutes and change into the seed. And Angry Larry gonna jump up a couple of levels here.
Yeah, Metal Scorpion a good enemy to find, especially with the hand axe, and don't know what he plans on doing here. Maybe just taking a Death Warp and exploring as far as he can. Looks like the forest beyond the hills leads to nowhere. Game Boy's gonna dive the mountain cave now. 108 HP at 5. Jeez.
And we have a Fairy Water, which works like the Repel spell as the first of 5 treasure chests inside of the mountain cave.
Troll Magi seems to be vulnerable to sleep. 2 for 2 on Game Boy's attempts.
And Angry Larry just able to withstand the damage from a golem, having 32 hit points and getting hit for 31. Meanwhile, here comes level 6 for Game Boy, crossing the 165 experience threshold. 3, 5, 4, and 2. Kind of modest statistics on that game, but figure it has to level out a little bit, given that, oh wow, we've got the Death Necklace. We'll talk more about that in a little bit.
Yeah, there's the Magician with Hurt More, but now Game Boy has enough strength to just blow him up in one shot.
Fairy Water and some big bucks inside the upper 2 chests on the 2nd level of the mountain cave.
Game Boy trying to hit this stop spell on the wizard, and it finally comes down. So this will be a slow fight, but doable. He's just gonna run.
Figures better than taking a death there, especially with 1 chest to go. And in that chest we have the Fairy Flute. So one of the overworld search, or one of the search spots, either in the overworld, in Cole, or in Hawk's Nest, will have nothing.
So trading the Fairy Flute in, or the Fairy Water in for the Fairy Flute. Definitely interesting assortment of items and spells we've seen so far. Nothing that really cracks the game wide open, but a lot of useful utility items.
And the spells, interestingly enough, are, already at level 5, 6 out of the 10 spells are learned, but you're right, some of the heavy hitters, not quite there yet. No Hurt More, no Outside, no Heal More. As we have a death on Angry Larry's side.
Yeah, it took a 40 damage punch from the Stone Man, unfortunately, so it's probably going to take another dive here soon.
Meanwhile, Game Boy F9 back into Garenham, going to do a little more purchasing, get that large shield, as well as the clothes. So the streak is over. Boogity boogity. Thank you to the one Ray Stevens fan out there that gets that. For everybody else, it was referencing a song from the Streaking Craze back in 1974. Here comes level 6 for Angry Larry.
Yeah, and he's just gonna go back into Garanham and sleep off that flame breath from the poltergeist.
More than understandable, yeah. The Dragon Lord 2 Breath doing between 64 and 72 hit points of damage. Granted, they have the hit points to withstand it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they want to. And we have the Staff of Rain Cave, which our runners will trade in the Silver Harp to acquire the Staff of Rain, but they haven't found it yet. But what they have found, at least on Game Boy's side, is the town of Cantlin, the proverbial shopping mall of Alefgard.
There is the Death Necklace on Larry's side, and Game Boy's gonna top off the keys here while checking out what's in this shop. So we've seen a flame sword, no silver shield or magic armor yet.
Well, I believe there was magic armor in the upper of the 3 shops in Cantlin.
Okay, so still the silver shield outstanding, and time to see what the old man has.
Looking for some coordinates, and we have them 70 south and 2 east.
Ooh, with that mountain range around the south part of Pantagel, that might be a little challenging to get to. See if Game Boy decides to count that out.
If not, they can always find the Swamp Cave and rescue the princess from inside of there. And bringing her back to the castle will give you Gwaelin's Love, which is almost like a GPS system. That's why it's jokingly referred to as the Gwaelin Positioning System. She will let you know how many paces in the 2 cardinal directions she is from your location, because it's all about her, as you've heard from the notorious meme, "But Thou Must." And it looks like he is trying to count these out. Or at least he was, and had to backtrack a little bit.
And I fear that this, the 70 south may be across this patch of ocean that we're going to see here. Because Larry has checked this area out already and found nothing.
And Droll Magi attacking, and Larry wanting none of it, and a werewolf taking out Game Boy F9. Both runners combining for 9 deaths so far, about 18 minutes in, averaging 1 death every 2 minutes.
Yeah, Larry about to find the Staff of Rain Cave himself, and Game Boy maybe pushing further south to continue this count, depending on if he's been using landmarks.
Or perhaps was going to head back to Cantlin. Ooh, and Knights with Sleep, and both runners finding it out at the same time. Meanwhile, in the swamp to the northeast of Cantlin, there's yet another cave.
So there's the full plate, and if Larry burns a key at the next shop, I believe that had half plate, so...
Larry going to check out the third shop now.
Upgrading the weapon instead. Can't say that I blame him for that. The broadsword is a nice upgrade.
Yeah, it is the third best of 7 weapons in the game.
And Game Boy has found Garen's grave in the swamp and is currently digging it out.
We saw a cursed belt, gold, and an empty item, so that was either an herb or a magic key. I didn't see Game Boy's inventory to see if both or either were full.
Alright, Larry's gonna get his coordinates now.
And level 7 for Game Boy F9. I believe it was 7, 0, 1, and 2 for the statistic gains.
A question in chat, found keys already. There were 2 in the throne room, so lots of interesting strategies at the start. Yeah, 2 in money.
And Smashy is correct in chat. Yes, a 57 hit point gain for level 2. That's why their hit point statistics are already rather high.
Well, it looks like the Demon Knights have hurt more as well, so normally that's a fight that you consider at the mid-range levels, but not today.
No, that's one technically to avoid, and here is the Silver Harp for Game Boy F9.
Yeah, he's just gonna take that harp and leave the modesty scale in its place.
Larry trailing right behind, getting the cursed belt. And some big bucks. And confirmed an herb. One more chest deep in the grave.
So both players know the contents of all the Cantlin shops, so if this turns out to not be Erdrick's sword, I'd be interested to see if Game Boy decides to do another grind for some armor and the flame sword.
And we have the Fighter's Ring deep in the grave. So that will add 2 attack power to their total, but not necessarily what they're looking for, so we shall see here. And Game Boy doing a little bit of pacing in the dark.
Yeah, probably looking for that Magiwyvern that's somewhere in this grouping.
And up to NG noting in chat that there are not many treasure chests left here in the overworld, and you are correct, only the Rimmildar chest it remains. So we know that Erdrick's token is going to be in one of the search spots, but we know one of them will be empty, as now there's the intentional death for Game Boy F9, and Angry Larry taking a death as well. Behind Tantagel was the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave, which contained the wings. And behind Garenham was the Tablet Cave, which contained gold.
All right, so I think I have a new favorite Mad Lib. Game Boy just found the Harp Knight.
Ah, the good old Harp Knight. As opposed to the torch found by Angry Larry.
Stocking up on bamboo poles here. So yeah, looks like definitely an armor upgrade and a flame sword in the future for both runners. It's pretty interesting given sort of the difference in strategy from the start. Larry doing that initial grind, that we've kind of converged to the same point, only with about a 200 experience difference. So still a very close race.
It most certainly is, and I was mistaken earlier. I'd seen the flame sword and full plate next to each other, and I thought one of them was the magic armor. So you were correct earlier that is still absent, although the full plate having the same defense points as the magic armor, just without the benefit of reduced damage from the hurt more spells, as well as the healing of 1 hit point for every 4 steps taken.
And hey, Larry finds another town. And speaking of that last chest available,
here is Rimuldar.
Ooh, do you take the magic armor? He's already got the broadsword.
And we will see here what is in... Oh, it is a magic key, the old 2-for-1 special. And Ryu, yes, the grave was full searched out along the top. You had an herb, you had the cursed belt, and you had gold. Midway through was the silver harp, and deep in the grave was the fighter's ring. And here comes level 7 for Larry. And now Game Boy is going to find Rimuldar.
Larry is going to find another town, and it's Breckenary.
With almost a slight twinge of disdain, or disappointment. And still no shields of note.
Yeah, so I think it's coal or bust as far as the silver shield goes.
Well, there is one town left that has a shop that has not yet been seen, and that is the town of Cole.
Game Boy landing the stop spell and the sleep on the Star Wyvern, so this fight's gonna go the full 12 rounds.
And garner 105 experience for it, and chipping away that much closer to level 9, the target number of experience 975. Meanwhile, Angry Larry finding, I believe that has to be Swamp Cave, and it is Swamp North. So it leads to something on the other side. And if you can make the trek here without passing, we will see what is on the other side, and we are going to. More swampland.
Well, I mean, it is the Swamp Cave.
It fits the bill. And Game Boy trying to get away from the Star Wyvern and getting hit with 18 for exactly 18. And back you go at the cost of half of your gold.
Yeah, and certainly he's going to take another run at that town. If it turns out to be Cole or Hawksness, that's really good information to have, and he's probably going to be disappointed.
And here is level 8 for Angry Larry. About 3 minutes behind when Game Boy got to level 8. And Warlock's with the traditional Dragon Breath, doing damage for about 20. So we are a half hour in, and our runners have pretty much found everything except for the various search spots. Game Boy F9 going to go ahead and trade in the Silver Harp for the Staff of Rain. The Silver Harp being found a little less than 10 minutes ago by both of our runners midway into Garen's grave.
And the jerk.
Yes, the Rainbow Drop Cave, that is where our runners will trade in the Staff of Rain and the Stones of Sunlight, along with carrying Erdrick's Token to obtain the Rainbow Drop to access Sharlock Castle, home of the Dragon Lord. But the reason he's known as the Jerk is if you don't have all of those items, most specifically Erdrick's Token, he will kick you out of the cave like the jerk that he is.
Yeah, it looks like he's found the Iberian Peninsula as well, but it's covered in swamp today, so no thanks.
And Smashy noting in chat that Angry Larry looking all over the second continent here, and it looks to be a big second continent of nothing. Although the Queen Bree noting GPS Island as that might be where the search spot is, and Angry Larry just picking the one bit of plains inside that swamp as just for kicks and giggles. Meanwhile, Game Boy F9 has found the town of Cole.
Oh, there's the bad news. No Silver Shield. Wow, nothing in the search spot either. And Sharlock is a million miles away. This is getting interesting.
So that means we know that Hawksness... Oh wow, there's level 9 for Angry Larry. Who has now taken the experience lead by about 100. And yeah, so Sharlock is on the second continent and is a long walk away. You are certainly right about that. So we now know that the town of Hawksness is going to contain either Erdrick's Armor, the best armor in the game, or Erdrick's Token, one of the essential items needed to complete this seed. Game Boy dispatching of a Stone Man is going to get to level 9 as well.
And Healmore, the big takeaway, and I think that, yep, that's a town on Angry Larry's side, so he may have found Hawksness. Might be a little dicey depending on what's there, and only 30 MP, but I think you have to take a look while you're in the area.
Meanwhile, Game Boy finding Breckenary. And Angry Larry getting slept by the Rogue Scorpion and going to give it a little taste of its own medicine.
Does a nice amount of damage to the Rogue Scorpion there. Oh, it's another enemy with sleep. Great.
Sleep and the Dragon Breath. Thankfully not the Dragon Lord Breath. And Larry trying to get out of it, but having no luck.
Gets the stop spell, though, so... Good decision, and he should be able to just punch this guy out, no problem. Oh.
The Knight showing his punching power as well.
Alright, so Larry has one heal more to deal with whatever's on this spot.
And it's a long walk away.
Oh, we got the golem.
Well, they have the fairy flute.
Came prepared, but he's still gonna hit pretty hard.
As long as the golem stays asleep, then Larry can just keep punching it. Oh, and an excellent move, a critical hit, and he wakes up with the spell of hurt.
Oh no, he's got heal more too.
Heal more. So perhaps the spell of stop spell in order.
Alright, getting it on the first try was important.
So now a heal more in play if need be.
Wow, 3 straight attacks, and yeah, that heal more is going to be pivotal.
And now comes the hurt spell. Like the Johnny Mathis and Denise Williams song, Too Much, Too Little, Too Late.
Yeah, now in heal more territory, Larry can just safely punch this pile of bricks down, and 255 experience for your trouble, and either the token or the armor. We'll see what he gets.
It's the token.
Wow, that is a long way away from any place that you turn that in.
But that also confirms that the overworld search spot, 70 paces south and 2 paces east of Tanager Castle, contains the best armor in the game, Erdrick's armor. Game Boy back into Garenham and out just as quickly.
Yeah, it looks like the experience lead during Larry's adventure in Hawksness was pretty much neck and neck. So Game Boy with about 70 experience lead, but that could go up in one Rogue Scorpion fight.
Yeah, currently at 103, and now Game Boy is going to find the Swamp Cave, and we'll see what the Guardian is. It is a Stone Man.
Alright, so Stone Man and Golem, not really what you're looking for as far as efficient grind enemies. And it might be even worse if the sword is in Charlock, which it's looking very much like it is.
We can definitely confirm that, yes, because of the treasure chests that were searched, 23 out of the 30 in the game, so we do know that Charlock is the holder of the best sword in the game, Erdrick's sword. Meanwhile, Game Boy dispatching of the Stone Man and now has Princess Gwaelin.
And Larry's going to start his count here and soon be very disappointed.
And I believe that was the spell of Hurtmore that was acquired at level 10. Or was it earlier and I just blinked and missed it?
I think Healmore was at 9 and Hurtmore was at 10. So, nice, definitely nice. Game Boy's gonna cast Hurtmore on the princess.
But thou must this.
But Hurtmore is going to make the exploration a lot nicer, especially since Erdrick's sword is currently bottled up in either the treasury or the vanilla spot.
And Larry realizing that he is waterlocked. And here is level 11, 2, 3, 1, and 12.
So the attack power not quite there yet, but the Death Necklace seems like it's almost certainly going to be relevant this seed.
Very possibly. Now again, the winner of this race will advance to the round of 16 to take on the 4-seeded Up to NG, who is currently in chat scouting both opponents. Game Boy F9 back in Tangential Castle, about to hand the princess over. And will now have the access to Overworld map location.
Yeah, Larry gonna throw a Hurtmore out on a cactus in the desert.
Those things can be prickly.
And speaking of prickly, there's the Jerk Cave. So Larry now knows where that is.
And at this point could acquire the Rainbow Drop, just has to turn in that harp for the Staff of Rain. And what do you know?
So with Hurtmore available, it brings up the possibility of doing a Sharlock dive to get the sword.
Kind of getting a preview of what you need. I mean, there certainly is a possibility for that here.
I think the big thing that you're worried about is the blue dragons, the red dragons with. I mean, once you dig that armor out, the red dragons should be pretty straightforward to deal with.
Considering they seem to cast a lot of stop spell as well as that baby dragon breath. And now we see, okay, 32 and 40, so quite a ways away from the South Swamp Cave. And High Spirits noting in chat that yes, with 43 agility, Angry Larry concerned about trying to get away from a lot of the enemies in Sharlock.
Yeah, that's a good point. With 72 MP, you might run out of Hurtmore ammo before you get down to the bottom here. Game Boy pulling out the old GPS to find out where he's at, so...
Still has a good 25 or so paces to go south.
So both players doing a pretty good job of using the Hurtmores to get pretty efficient experience along the way.
And the experience gap's still a fairly modest, roughly 550. Yes, for those of you just joining us, welcome here to Randomania 2 alongside Edgeworth. I'm Ferran Burgundy. Also want to thank behind the scenes Lord of the Synth for taking care of the restreaming to bring this action to you, and CyberDark86 with the tracking, keeping track of all of these statistics and item inventory and everything of that nature. And Game Boy has found Erdrick's armor.
So that's a pretty sizable advantage here, and it's going to make that long walk to Charlock a lot more palatable. So with the Hurtmore spell in tow, Game Boy's probably going to get... Yep, and he's right there. So it was right in the Charlock area, too. Wow.
So now the paths kind of splitting as Game Boy F9 is in Hawk's Nest. Angry Larry now in the Swamp Cave looking to rescue the princess.
Ooh, Larry whiffs the Hurtmore on the Stone Man and gets punched to death. So back to the start for him. And Game Boy should have the token shortly.
Chat wondering, and I was thinking it myself also, that might have been a mismenu, as Healmore had been at the bottom for most of that time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no position to YOLO Hurtmore. I mean, that sometimes tends to happen, and Game Boy F9 seeing the Healmore and having stop spelled it already, and is now going to go to level 12. 1 power, 1 speed, 2 hit points, 3 magic points, and a spell, and there's the token.
And there's 129 HP as well, so... But the agility just has not gone anywhere. And, yeah, with Stop Spell and the Flame Sword, Game Boy's gonna stick around and get a few levels here.
And Larry perhaps trying to pick up where he left off as far as the count. This is a very high-risk, high-reward type decision right here. But if it pays off and he doesn't have to worry about getting the princess... Although, if I recall, if that's Swamp Cave South there, just to the southeast of Angry Larry, then just a little bit off from where the actual spot is.
Just a bit outside.
He did, in fact, try the corner and missed. Thank you to the 3 people who got that Major League reference.
Yeah, and And Larry's in some trouble here with his count. This was definitely a tricky count to get right.
Joe Magazine noting that that Larry, in very Spaceballs fashion, is combing the desert.
Oh, we ain't found the armor yet, so...
That is accurate. So, Angry Larry saying, not for now, and is going to head on into, at least place the rainbow drop.
Yeah, there's a lot of barrier tiles in the way that, without the armor, can mess you up pretty good, so...
Game Boy taking a death, running out of resources, but is only 57 experience away from level 13.
And, well, the top floor seems to be crawling with Axe Knights, which is... It's definitely something that's inviting, that's for sure. Oh boy.
And here is Game Boy trading in to get the rainbow drop.
Alright, Larry has 5 Hurtmores. And a broadsword. Let's go.
Chat asking, what did that floor do to you? Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, and the Hurtmore missing. Meanwhile, Game Boy taking out the Red Dragon, and that's going to propel him to level 13 with 13 power, 3 speed, a hit point, and 26 magic points.
Wow, that is a huge bump in the Healmore department.
So now there is consideration of using the Death Necklace. I did mention, golly, about 50 minutes ago at this point that we were going to get into that. In the vanilla version of the game, it is just a cursed item that keeps you out of Tanager Castle and has no benefit to you. It was programmed here in Dragon Warrior Randomizer to be a little bit different, a little risk-reward in this case, as Angry Larry failing to get away from the Red Dragon, he's going to head on back here. So when you put on the Death Necklace, it gives you an additional 10 attack power, but at the cost of 25% of your maximum hit points.
The lack of the Silver Shield is looming pretty large here, given the low defense power that both players have.
Yeah, no Silver Shield anywhere to be found, and the agility is starving here in level 13. As you can see, the 65 defense points, that means that a lot of the enemies in Charlotte Castle are going to put a hurting and then some on, well, both of our runners. If they were to get down to the Dragon Lord with that 65 defense power that Game Boy F9 has, Dragon Lord's second form would hit for anywhere between 26 and 53 hit points of damage. Here is level 12 for Angry Larry.
Yeah, and he's gonna dig the GPS out now. Although getting some good enemy encounters on the way to the princess.
And Beta Strep noting that 53 max damage is a big deal if the Death Necklace is used, as with that 130 hit point total, 25% off of that, you're looking at a maximum hit point of 97. So potentially the Dragon Lord can attack for more than half of your hit points in one swipe. So Angry Larry back in the castle, going to drop off the princess. So far, Game Boy with the advantage, but by no means is Angry Larry out of it. As we saw, Charlotte Castle has been brutal and then some, and can certainly be the great equalizer.
Another dive for the sword could be pretty profitable for Larry once he gets the armor.
Larry, having been in Charlotte Castle, has the knowledge that that top floor is just full of Axe Knights, which are the best enemy to use Hurtmore on, and theoretically one-shot them and get 130 experience a pop. And it doesn't look like they've shown any kind of chicanery. But up to NG, meanwhile, looking at this spot with golems here that seems to be an overworld grind zone.
Yeah, as long as they keep casting Hurt, this is not too bad for Game Boy, but he seems to have found a feisty golem here. There's a 9 power bump.
Taking a long look at these statistics. Once Erdrick's Sword is found, it will add an additional 12 attack power to the Flame Sword that Game Boy has. 127, rather on the light side. I would imagine would consider 15 at this point.
Larry's not too far away. Just a Wraith Knight standing in between him and the armor.
And a fire-breathing Wraith Knight at that. Larry attempting to avoid having to use Gwaelin's Love again, but oh, he's on the other side of the water.
Yeah, now he realizes he's got to go across. Google Maps telling him to drive straight into the ocean.
Hey, there's kind of water in the way that I can't walk through there, Siri, but thanks anyway.
And yeah, out of resources, Larry's just gonna return to the castle. It's a good move. He's got the armor. Now he's ready to start getting levels, and it's just a matter of where he thinks is the most efficient place to do so.
And Chat had noted earlier that while Game Boy F9 had gone to Hawksness, I don't believe had seen that Sherlock was right by it and is now looking around for Sherlock Castle.
Yeah, and this is time that Larry can definitely use to catch up. It's just a matter of how much Game Boy retraces his steps, but he's headed in the right direction, so not too much longer, I would imagine.
As the challenge of having to retrieve the princess and look for the armor, allowing Game Boy to get a roughly 2,300 experience lead, and Game Boy has found Sherlock Castle. Larry, meanwhile, back in the Swamp Cave, is going to go after the Stone Man.
So, Red Dragons and Axe Knights on the first floor, and for Game Boy, this is pretty nice. Looks like he's going to fight his way down.
He's going to attempt to acquire about 1,500 and change experience, and already a little over 200 of it right there, to get to 7,500 for level 15.
Yeah, it gets a nice long walk back to nearly max HP as well.
And with these Red Dragons, as long as they keep casting Stop Spell and just breathing some fire, that seems to be the ideal thing for Game Boy. The worst thing they can do is attack.
Alright, at max HP, he's just gonna go right after the Stone Man too, and yikes, they are hitting pretty hard. Flame Sword doing some work though.
But still, a Stone Man hitting for anywhere between 16 and 33 hit points per attack. The Red Dragons anywhere between 21 and 43 when they do attack. But as long as they keep breathing fire or using Stop Spell, that is what Game Boy is looking for.
And he's gonna eat an herb to top off the HP here, and this has been a pretty nice floor overall. I'll see what the enemy distribution is on the next couple floors.
Pretty much a hero's run through that floor, not encountering any enemies that I saw unless I was looking down and taking notes.
No, just the golems so far, and the Blue Dragon, probably the worst that we've seen, but Game Boy gets away on the first shot.
.57 agility, at least at that moment, feeling like 107 agility.
Yeah, and he is going straight for the treasury, so 1/7 chance that he could get burned on this, but the odds are in his favor.
Alright, so we've got about 20 seconds. Any guesses for the pyramid here? Are we going to the judges' table? Where of these 6 chests will Erdrick's sword be, or will it be in the 7th one in its vanilla location? I'm going to go bottom right. So, well, I was wrong there. We've got an herb, we've got big bucks, we've got a torch, we've got wings. There's Erdrick's sword up in the top.
And of note, Larry just threw out a Healmore and went up to 97, so he's put on the Death Necklace for the Stoneman grind.
So that now putting Game Boy's attack power at 127. So he'll be doing anywhere from... You'd think I'd know this by now. I think that's, what, 6 to 13 hit points of damage on the Dragon Lord, second form?
That sounds right, and this he's got to get past this blue dragon first.
Yeah, 6 to 13.
Ooh, and there's another one sitting in the doorway. So with the sword, he should be able to make quick work of him. And level 15, not too far away.
Just hoping to smash through the enemies at this point. Hitting those werewolves from anywhere between 23 and 46. And perhaps one more shot here.
Yeah, big power boost on against those wizards. And what did we get at 15?
3 power, 6 speed, 8 hit points, 3 magic points, and another spell.
And he's going with the Death Necklace.
So he is going for it here. So 130 attack power, now 140 with the Death Necklace. So he's going to be looking to do anywhere between 10 and 20 hit points of damage. On average, should take about 11 hits. And with 12 Healmores, this should be good to go. Meanwhile, on Angry Larry's side, level 14.
Down to his last herb, and Dragon Lord kept the Hurtmore train rolling, so no free double attack at the start, but roll of, I believe that was 14?
14 to start. Having to use a Healmore.
And 20.
And max. Up to 34. Having to use another Healmore. Oh, but a minimum roll of 10 up to 44. Still now with 9 Healmores left. And a 16, that puts us to 60. That's pretty much going to be the game plan. Attack, Healmore, attack, Healmore. Another low roll of 10, we're up to 70.
Ooh, attacks for 50.
And another 14, we're at 84. Oh, there's a 17. That puts us at 101. And a 15 for 116. low roll of 11 for 127. Again, the Dragon Lord anywhere between 150 and 165. He should have this pending a miss menu. There's a big 18. We're up to 145. The next attack could do it. And 11 is enough.
Yeah, there we go with 2 heal mores in the bank and an attack. So he was in pretty good shape for that fight. The HP boost at the end making the Death Necklace strategy pretty safe.
Most certainly. So, ladies and gentlemen in chat, get out your GGs for Game Boy F9, who lives to defend his crown just a little bit longer and will advance to the round of 16 with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 21 seconds. And Larry looks to have put in the immediate forfeit after seeing the dot done in the IRC chat.
So GG's to both runners. Pretty hard-fought race, but I think just the finding the armor early proved to be pretty pivotal for Game Boy here.
And we'll see if either or both of our runners will join us here for a post-game interview.
Yeah, Hefe making a good point. The golem grind into the overworld grind seemed to be a very solid strategy, and then not really too bad of a Sharlock dive too. Was able to make it down there with 2 heal mores to spare.
Now, don't forget, folks, at the conclusion of this, we'll be taking you over to our main Randomania network, where the last of our round of 24 will be commencing. The final spot in the 16 will be determined as the 16 seed and 17 seed go at it, BTs and Lavkian. The winner of that will go into the round of 16 to take on JJ Schmidt 77, the number 1 seed. And we have our victor here in chat, Game Boy F9. Congratulations and GG. You lived to fight on a little bit longer, champ.
Thank you very much. It was that was a what a way to start that scene, don't you think?
The possibilities, there were quite a few of them, to say the least, except for one possibility that was a lack of Silver Shield anywhere.
Yeah, no, I was like, oh, come on, man, where's my Silver Shield? Ugh. But I mean, it worked out. It was a where is I gonna go with that? I don't know, but I just loved seeing 57 hit points at level 2.
Yeah, it's interesting. It had a dramatic impact on the area that you could cover at the start. Being able to eat a hurt more and then run away from any enemy was definitely helpful in checking out the early first continent.
Yeah, I thought it was, and yeah. I apologize that I'm at a loss of words here.
So, how worried were you with the?
You have that moment right after the race, is concluding. You have to try to get your composure, and here we are, kind of shoving a microphone in your face and saying, "Hey, what do you think about this and that?" It's more than understandable.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Edgeworth? I'm sorry.
I was just wondering how worried you were about the low agility stat going into Sharlock.
Not as worried as, less worried than average. That is how I would that's how I would say that. And that's because the Red Dragons were Super Famicom Red Dragons, and the wizards were peaceful, and there were when their stone men were a cakewalk as well. And as long as they kept running into those monsters, it was great.
Yeah, I was concerned that there might be a lot of blue dragons in the area, but I think you only ran into about three of those the entire Charlock dive.
Yeah, they were only in the last zone, thankfully. So well, actually, I was more worried about running into armored knights, but I ran into zero armored knights all game.
They were conspicuous by their absence. They took the night off, apparently.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm sure Larry would as well.
It looked like the difference was you had gone and acquired the armor a little bit earlier, maybe about 15 minutes earlier than Larry. Larry had attempted to count, got to that waterlocked area, had a little bit of trouble with the stone man guarding Gwalen, and opted to go to the other side of the cave and count it out, and ran into some trouble with that, and started combing the desert from there. And well, he didn't find anything. We'll put it that way.
Oh no.
So he ended up having to double back, go take out the stone man, bring Gwalen back at that point, and you were meanwhile in Hawk's Nest taking out the golem to acquire the token.
Yeah, and then I hung out a little bit because the golems were friendly as well. Well, they weren't as friendly as the three monsters I mentioned in Sherlock, but they were nice.
They were stop spellable.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah, and I think another thing that helped with sort of that small golem grind was having the flame sword. Larry opted to pick up the magic armor instead, so definitely interesting difference. He went with broadsword magic armor, while you went with flame sword and I believe full plate.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I saw at the time, and then I was quickly finding the rest of the towns. I'm like, oh no, do I have to gold grind again for Silver Shield? And it never showed up. This is the one time where I wanted a Silver Shield because how much damage could the Dragon Lord deal to me? 52, 53? And I don't know, it was a high number.
Yeah, you took a punch for 52 during the fight. That HP gain at the end at 15 definitely was nice to see, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I didn't need that level, but again, when I had 57 agility, it was just better to beat up the red dragon than it was to try to run away from him.
So it was just kind of a bonus level. And yeah, with your 71 defense, the Dragon Lord was hitting for anywhere from 26 to 52.
Oh, okay, 52. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost half when you're at 105 for max after the death necklace. But you were
Yeah,
able
that's
to
true.
now you get to go on to face up to NG in the eighth finals.
Yeah, that is another good opponent that I will that it's going to be another good race. So stay tuned.
You can pretty much say that about, well, actually, yeah, you can say that about every race that's coming up here. As I'm looking here at the eight matchups in the round of 16. I mean, you've got High Spirits and Jay Coper, Tilo and Zarnax. You've got Jackamus and Tristal, Data Plet and Eternal Newbie. A couple of the I guess some of the newer guard making their presence felt. Silverfire and Nest Cardinality, you and up to NG, Centroid 41 and Mr. Holmes, and JJ Schmidt against the winner of the match currently going on the other network, BTs and Lavkian.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be another good round. We got 16, well, 17 now, soon to be 16. Really good runners coming up. So, looking forward to see what next week holds. And
Most certainly. So, folks, tune in or make sure to stay tuned to the Randomania networks to find out when the races will be going on in that eighth finals section. Any last thoughts here? I don't believe that we have heard or probably will hear from Angry Larry here at this point, as there were some definite moments of frustration that were kicking in during, especially the latter part of the race.
Yeah, definitely a good game to Angry Larry. Always, I mean, he's a good friend of ours. Everybody here, commentary and runners. So hopefully we'll see him again in a future tournament, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, he has proved throughout that he is no slouch, and I knew this was going to be good just from the jump. This is one that a lot of people were counting down, looking forward to, and it was very even throughout. Just as with a lot of these races, one decision over another just potentially making the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. But I will definitely continue to see what Angry Larry's got in the future because I'm looking forward to his next elite tournament. So I don't know what game they're going to pick yet, but I'm sure it'll be a good one nevertheless.
Yes, his channel's tournament formats are always entertaining, whether it be in the competition or otherwise. Edgeworth, you can definitely attest to that.
No, I sure can. That was, as much as I complained about it, I definitely enjoyed the last Elite tournament, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
They are certainly great. Well, I believe that's going to just about wrap things up here on Randomania 2. I want to once again thank our restreamer, Lord of the Synth, for keeping us on the air here and doing a fantastic job. CyberDark86, thank you for the tracking. And Edgeworth, it's always a pleasure. You going back were I feel like I mention this every time, but you were the first commentator that I've co commentated with at this point, gosh, some 9 months ago into this crazy journey that is here in the Dragon Warrior randomizer community.
Yeah, always a pleasure doing commentary with you, and hopefully we can do this again before the end of the tournament.
Most certainly looking forward to it. And Game Boy, once again, congratulations. Make sure to give both of our runners a follow, both Game Boy F9 as well as Angry Larry. They are very entertaining, and make sure to give the folks behind the scenes a follow as well. And that is Lord of the Synth, who had was a last minute fill in on the restreaming. And yeah, for everybody here among the Randomania networks, I'm Ferran Burgundy saying until next time, may your moves be excellent and your seeds stay classy. We're now going to take you over to Randomania Prime for the last of our round of 16 matchups here, as it's going to be BTs against Lavkian, the 16 and 17 matchup over on Randomania. So long, everyone.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, everyone.